Here's part of the hoard I never really showed. You see an HP DeskJet 952C inkjet printer. It was one of the greatest printers ever. It was superseded in my hoard by a 990, which had infrared and double-sided, which I still have. So this was just taken out of service. Somebody gave me that 990 at one point. It's sitting here and it's got some stuff on it. It's got some sort of no-name universal remote that was from a dollar store. Does that look familiar? VHS label, a remote for a DVD player, an ink cartridge for that, another universal remote that was taken out of service. But that's not really what this video is about. It's about this. Well, that didn't really show you anything because I had to pile stuff up. I finally, after years and years, see, this room has always been like a junk room. It still is. But for years, I would go to the door when I'd have a cable I didn't need, a audio-video cable, a coax cable, a composite cable, anything like this, video cable, you name it, HDMI cable, VGA cable, that stuff. Just throw it in this general direction. Now, when I moved here, I had everything sorted into bins, and over the years, it got all fugazi. So I sorted everything out. I got another universal remote, same kind, that curiously, check this out, this is an RCA branded one, and this is like the knockoff of it. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, that was that. And I finally, whoops, that fell down. No good. Let me get that before it goes away. There we go. Okay. You've seen this GE, what do you call it, RF modulator. Had a video on that. Remember these? Game switchboxes for TV from back in the day, 300 ohm. This is a Coleco. An actual Coleco. Yeah, it's dirty. It's yellowed. It's awesome. Back when fucking video games were video games and not bullshit. This also made an appearance a few thousand times. The Rotary modulator. This thing, I thought about making a video of this. If anybody's interested, let me know. I'm not going to be able to hook it up for that video because I honestly don't know much about it. It's the Quasarts control box center thing. It's got a switch on it and a whole bunch of buttons. It says antenna or cable, VCR, video disc, video game, auxiliary, antenna or cable, video disc, auxiliary. That's for the VCR record. And take a look at the back of this thing. All those ports. Some kind of crazy switch box. This I got at a thrift store back in the day for $4.99. It just looked too cool. I could not leave it there. So I had to pick that up. A realistic tape control center. Had one of these as a kid. And there's another right below. Look at all of those ports you can plug things in and out of. A realistic stereo audio selector. aux 1, 2, 3. More ports. And some various other things. .300 to 75 ohm. Or 75 to 300, I forget which way it goes. I bagged them all up. I had a lot more than I thought. These, I guess not as many of. I thought I had a lot more. The Balin coils, some people call them. So I got a bunch of those. Everybody needs these. A 2.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter stereo plug adapter. And more adapters and other stuff like that. I bought these, thought about doing a video on this. Anybody interested? 99 cents back in the day. A little shitty pair of earbuds, but includes red foam pads if you want. They're probably all disintegrating. And an 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch adapter. Got a whole bunch of them here. And then more down in there, which is awesome. Anybody remember these? Wired remotes for VCRs. And that goes to a plug just like that. Yep, you used to have a wired remote for pause back in the day. That was pretty awesome. Also have these. There is a companion USB stick that goes with it. This is for PlayStation 3, I think. I don't know how I ended up with them. I've tried it on a Windows system, no dice. I've tried it on a Chromebook, no dice. I've tried it on an Android TV box and had some limited success with it. So they're not really of much use to me, but yet I have them anyway. So there's that. And let me pack this box back up, get it off of here, and I'll show you the rest. This, which I didn't mention, is a ground loop isolator for audio. Have one of these in the Big 6, and thought I could use another. It didn't work for that particular application, which is okay because I have another out for it. But I also thought, you know, not for nothing, if I get this and it does work, great. If it doesn't, I would not be adverse to having a spare in the Horde, because you never know. And in here are coax cables. Okay, there's 2 cables here, that's why. And twin ax, or twin lead, I should say. Whole bunch of various coax cables, rabbit ear antennas, more coax cables, some that go to, here's one that goes to strange connectors, I don't know. Some of these have 75 ohm at one end, and the other end goes to 75 and or 300 ohm. So that's kind of nice, just to have that. So they're all sorted as for the type of cable that they are, like that, which is a great thing, because now I could actually find stuff if I need to. And this, by the way, is a top to an old record player, because that's what was handy. And let me see if I could put this over here. Yeah, that'll do. Now I got a bin. I stole these from the whiff. AV cables and HDMI cables and S-video cables and all kinds of stuff. So here's an HDMI. What spec? I don't know. There's different specs. And there's that. And then a really, really long S-video cable. So that's kind of neat. That's pretty neat. This is like a good 50-foot long. A bunch of these had these as a kid with the gold connections on them at that same National Wholesale place you saw before. So there's all those type of cables in here, along with other weird adapters. S-video to composite. And there's a, I don't know why this is quite in here. Oh, because it's coax. Just a coupler kind of thing. And there are RCA female to female adapters. and all sorts of, you got to dig through it unfortunately, but there's all sorts of other adapters and crazy shit in there that I've collected over the years, which is totally awesome. And I think I might be able to put that over here. Yeah. I can open this one up. And this one has audio cables. So the one we just saw was video cables, but this one is audio cables only. That's why this thing that you saw, which will work for audio or video, composite video is going to use 3 RCAs, so that's why it's in the video box. So it made sense, you know, in that regard. And in here I have stuff from when I was a kid. All sorts of different stuff. Stereo line in cable, 3.5mm to 2 RCA, bunch of those. And they're kind of in particular places in here. Here's a really weird one. 3.5mm to 1 female and 1 male RCA. No idea what that's used for. Absolutely none. And other RCA cables. Why is this in here? Oh, well, this doesn't really belong in there, so it's a good thing I checked, because this is not an audio cable at all. It would work as one, theoretically, but that should go in the video box, because that's where that goes. I have another odd RCA cable here that is yellow and red, no white. This is a 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch monaural set of old Kobe branded headphones. Another cable that has come undone, which is just a single RCA at each end for no reason, just to have, because you never know, one could go bad. I do have a bad cable somewhere in my stereo setup in the living room, but getting to that is another story. This was from my childhood. I don't know if my dad made this or what, but it's an extension cable, monaural, 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch, and you could actually unscrew the jackets on these. So you were allowed to actually fix this and resolder connections and stuff, because that's how jacks used to be, instead of just molded onto the plug. I think the wire got a little knackered there, so I put some tape on it or something. Kind of useless, but you know, you keep it around. And then there are a couple bags filled with other stuff. We'll put this back over here. That's probably a good place. Over here I have, there's actually two, I just kept them together. This is a VGA splitter cable that goes from there to two of those, which is just connected to this cable, so that's a separate entity. And that goes to, it's VGA to red, green, and blue. I don't know why I have that or what you use that for, but I have it. And over here in this bag is splitters and switch boxes for audio. And I'll show you like one here. We used to have this when I was a kid on the TV. And you had cable TV, TV, VCR. So you're out over here, and your 3 ins or outs, I guess it could go either way. Not going to find anything like that these days. Completely metal box. It used to be Velcroed, and the red is from the red carpeting I used to have in my bedroom when I was a kid. And here's another switch box. Don't know where I got this from. Damn. And in fact, it looks like it pulls out of the case. I guess maybe there used to be screws or something. Or maybe the adhesive would hold it. But it's still, you know, you don't even need the brown case on it. So I got that, and then there's like other weirdy things in here. Like this. I think this was, it says input, FM set, and then VHF, UHF. So you'd have a roof antenna or even rabbit ears connect into here, and this somehow would separate out the VHF and UHF, so you could use the same antenna for that, and also FM that you could run to your stereo receiver. So I got a couple of those as well, which is really nice. And then there is yet another bag. It's going to be a lot of fun putting all this back. This one. And these are miscellaneous cables that I don't know much about. Or some of them anyway. These I bought years ago. They take an IEC connector cable or a computer or power supply cable and convert it back to a standard AC outlet. I bought a number of those for a project that I never did, stemming back from many, many years ago. Potato salad. More cables that I have no idea what's in here. These I never sorted through. These were from when I was really a little kid. This is a recording adapter for telephones and whatnot. So I don't even know what's in there. And then this thing has other adapters, and like here's a BNC to RCA. A whole bunch of stuff that has been around forever. Yes, there is a Vornado Fan here, and yes, it works. The SEMA, very, very yellowed plastic video copy master, and this basically allows you to hook up S-video or composite to it. I don't know if you can see in there, and this defeats Macrovision copy protection. It's not really advertised as such, but that's kind of what it does. Never used. Never even taken out of the package. Very yellowed because it's been sitting around probably in the sun for a long time. Let me get the rest of this packed up and I'll show you where this is going. I don't know when it's going there, but eventually it will. Fantwerp time. Get your Jergens. That blows air. Boxing all that stuff up and sorting through it gave me this space here, which is next to the Lazy Boy. And over here is the 1955 Rotary Phone. I forget. There's a video on it. It's got a bell. It rings. It's rotary. And I thought I had an adapter for it, but I didn't. But I did swipe this while I was at it. And it's kind of, I made this, it's like it's a little hokey. You know, so I wanted to better secure that. Well, it so turns out that in one of those videos from China where they sent me a chainsaw and then another chainsaw and then a circular saw, This was from the circular saw episode, where it's very rough at this end, which I think was just the end of it as I got it. And that circular saw really, that's pretty smooth, I gotta say. But it just so happened I cut that piece to just the right length that I'll mount this up to it with screws, and then, you know, I can use like a staple gun and staple the wire to it, and that would keep it intact and prevent it from falling apart. And then this plugs into that, so I'll figure out which way to mount it. I guess whatever way it goes, the cable has to go the same way, because that's where the notch is and that's the way it plugs in. But such is. This phone used to be over by the wife's desk, but is not now because she got a new desk. And it's not hooked up because there's no telephone jack over here. But I'm going to rectify that. I need to make my own telephone cable and crimp the ends on it, which is something I have not done. But we'll have a video on that at one point or another, so I can put this phone in service. So this way, if I'm in the lazy boy and the phone rings, it's fucking right here, and I can just pick it up. Otherwise, if I got this thing reclined, because it's an electric kind, there's no way I could get up and run across the room to the phone and pick it up in time. And this is all sitting on this little eDuo camping table that I had a video on also. So there's a link in the prescription to this table that you can see, along with other products that I mentioned that I made videos on throughout this. So it's all down in the prescription. Go take a look. There's videos there. You probably didn't see them because I know people. And you can watch those. In the meantime, that's going to wrap this up. Thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. And take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.